Hijack! Has your smartphone hijacked your mind? Nicholas Carr, former executive editor of the Harvard Business Review, wrote a Wall Street Journal article showcasing over a dozen studies that show how damaging our smartphones have become to our brains. Carr notes that we will check our phone nearly 30,000 times this year. This is a device we love. According to a 2015 Gallup poll, over half of iPhone users, over half of women, and over half of 18 to 29-year-olds can't imagine life without their smartphone. None of this is surprising. We are growing attached to this device. However, the more attached we come to this device, the more studies are showing that our intellect is weakening. A study published in 2017 by Adrian Ward at the University of Texas at Austin and colleagues found that the mere presence of our smartphone diminishes our intelligence. They tested 520 undergraduates and found that measures of fluid intelligence and cognitive capacity diminished the closer the phone was to the students. These researchers found that the more dependent students were on their phones, the higher the cognitive cost. Sadly, students remained completely oblivious and even denied the possibility that their phones had been a distraction and had disrupted their focus and thinking. In fact, students that could see their phones scored worse. Students whose phones were left in a different room did the best. This mirrored a study from the University of Southern Maine in which students that had their phones turned off but in view made significantly more errors in demanding tests of attention and cognition than did a control group whose phones remained out of sight. Nicholas Carr goes on to share a 2015 Journal of Experimental Psychology study involving 166 subjects that found when people's phones beep or buzz while they're in the middle of a challenging task, their focus wavers and their work gets sloppier, whether they check the phone or not. Another 2015 study, which involved 41 iPhone users and appeared in the Journal of Computer-Mediated Communication, showed that when people hear their phone ring but are unable to answer it, their blood pressure spikes, their pulse quickens, and their problem-solving skills decline. In yet another study published in Applied Cognitive Psychology in 2017, researchers examined 160 students at the University of Arkansas at Monticello. Students who didn't bring their phones to the classroom scored a full letter grade higher on a test of the material presented than those who brought their phones. It didn't matter whether the students who had their phones used them or not. All of them scored equally poorly. An even larger study of 91 secondary schools in the United Kingdom, published in Labor Economics in 2016, found that when schools ban smartphones, students' examination scores go up substantially, with the weakest students benefiting the most. Finally, even more research is given that shows how the presence of the phone kills interpersonal trust and closeness, especially when we are talking about something personally meaningful. In case after case, we have been shown how the smartphone is hijacking our minds. But it doesn't have to be that way. Don't let your smartphone hijack your mind. How can this be prevented? Nicholas Carr correctly concludes his Wall Street Journal article by stating, "We need to give our minds more room to think. And that means putting some distance between ourselves and our phones."